What happened to new cars? It seems like all the new sports cars that are coming to the market and all the other stuff that's coming to the market is complete junk, stuff enthusiasts don't want, and things that are going to break in less than a few years. Well, hopefully I can answer that question today and also just talk a little bit about what is going on. Now, it's no secret, the world shut down in 2020, supply chain issues, and all of those things caused car prices and many other things to go absolutely astronomical for a little bit. Seems like we're having a little bit of a level, but it'll never be back to where it was before simply because of the inflation and a bunch of other factors that are going into it. The biggest one is the fact that car companies found out how they can make more money with doing less. Now, I'm sure all of you guys remember this, but I'm just going to reiterate it. During COVID, there was no cars on dealership lots. There was tens of thousands of cars that were already pre-built. They were waiting for microchips at one point to get to dealerships. Now, this caused dealerships to take advantage of their customers even more than they already had in the past, charging multiple thousands over sticker, if not tens of thousands of dollars over sticker for vehicles. For some reason, people were paying this for even non-sports cars, non-enthusiast cars, things that are basically normal everyday vehicles. Not only that, but dealerships now disguise some hidden fees that were multiple $1,000 fees like window tinting and PPF that cost them a couple $100 so they could make an extra few $1,000s that way. They'd have protection plans, whether it was your interior protection, whatever it was, and they would charge multiple thousands of dollars onto the sticker price, which was another way for them to make more money, and because people were desperate, they paid the prices. I feel like we could talk about dealerships and all the stuff that they did that wasn't great during this time, but the main thing was that they were charging over sticker for cars that should never be over sticker. Now people are so upside down in some of those cars that they simply just can't justify selling them. Now, before moving past that, here's an example of something I'm talking about. This is an enthusiast car. I was looking at the Civic Type Rs. They came out with a yellow heritage edition, and well, it was a pretty cool car. I was shopping around at the time for these cars. I was in Northern California, and well, a $35,000 car at the time, they were asking $78,000 for it. That car now, just a few years later, is worth a little bit less than sticker price. But imagine the people who actually went out and bought those cars. They're $40,000 upside down in a Civic. I was shopping for these cars at the time and I was getting told $40,000, $50,000 for these Civics, and I simply said, that is stupid. I refuse to pay that, and I'm going to buy something else because imagine how upside down I'm going to be in the next few years. And that's exactly what's happening. When the new Prius came out, I went to a couple Toyota dealerships to see what the situation was looking like. Once again, I was told, yeah, you're going to have to buy our $5,000 protection plan. If you're not going to buy the protection plan, you're not going to get your car. I simply left the dealership after telling them, you told me that we could do this deal at sticker price. That's how you got me into the door here. Now you're lying to my face. Why would I do business with you? Called a different Toyota dealership. They said, yeah, we have a waiting list. You're going to have to wait, just like the other dealership did. The wait at the other dealer was a little bit more, but they weren't charging over sticker. And that situation has happened multiple times. Whether I was shopping for a Supra, whether it was a Prius, whatever it was, dealerships were absolutely out of their minds. Now, the dealers having less cars, charging more money for them, gave all the manufacturers the same idea. And that idea was, let's make less cars. Let's charge more money and make less cars. Also, did you know that over 40% of you guys that are returning to my videos are not subscribed? Go down and click that subscribe button. It helps the channel more than you can even imagine, and it helps make sure you don't miss any future videos. Now to go into the next point. What happened with these cars? Because they are straight garbage. I had my new Bronco that had some electrical issues. I had a Mustang. The clutch in that car just couldn't handle the power. I'll let that one fly. It's a budget sports car. It's gonna have a fault, and I found the fault, unfortunately. F-150. All the 10-speed cars from Ford, Chevy, and all of them have non-stop transmission problems. But the F-150 we have has less than 100,000 miles and has had a brand new trans put in it at 80,000 miles. I went into the bay one day to kind of just look at the truck and see what was going on with it. One of the techs I was talking to, he's like, yeah, I've seen these 10 speeds have issues at 15,000 miles, 1,400 miles, like 20,000 miles, non-stop issues with these 10 speeds. And it's just a simple bearing shaft that they could change, but they're not going to change it, nor have they decided to change it for years. Because what happens is if they can make these cars last just as long as the warranty and then make them fail when the warranty is done, they'll most likely force the customers to buy a new car because of how expensive they are to repair. Toyota with their Tundra, when the V8, the final V8 was rolling around, they were having problems with those. Lots of electrical issues with those vehicles. They've made them so complex that they're impossible for your regular everyday guy to fix in his garage. But not only that, they've made them so hard to fix that even the techs themselves can't figure out what's going on with these vehicles, and they're getting bought back, or they're simply just having to live with the issues. Recently, I've had some experience with a Tesla, and well, I've had issues with that already. New cars are basically hot garbage. There's nothing good that's coming out into the market simply because they're trying to make them as cheap as possible, keep the most margins, and make money at the end of the day. A lot of these older cars from the 80s, 90s, early 2000s are now holding incredible value because, well, we see them and we see simplicity, reliability, higher quality products going into those vehicles. They're just going to simply last longer than a lot of new things. Now, even if you're averaging a couple $100s in repairs per year to get your car and keep it on the road outside of regular maintenance, that's still going to be cheaper than the loan you're going to pay for a new vehicle with high interest rates and everything like that. But also the astronomical prices these vehicles have climbed to. Even if you pay cash for them, you're still looking at a $50,000, $60,000 vehicle for a regular car. When I was shopping for the new Mustang and I decided, you know what, let me build my old Mustang in the new generation Mustang. Over $5,000 more expensive. Closer to $10,000 more expensive for one-to-one equivalent. Now, outside of money, which I believe is the biggest reason these cars have got as bad as they are, there's a secondary reason. A lot of the internal combustion cars are forced to go in smaller displacement, and they're forced to be a little bit more high-strung, which is causing them to have a little bit more problems. Now, as an enthusiast, you and I probably look at these cars saying, these are way too complex, why don't they make something simpler? When you actually look at statistics and see what car buyers actually want, they actually want to have all of the high tech. But the other point I'm trying to get at, the other huge problem is the regulations that are put on these cars. Smaller displacement, all that stuff comes from the regulations, not necessarily from the manufacturers. Even though customers have spoke, for example, like with the new Mercedes, they went from a V8 to an inline 4-cylinder, no one bought the 4-cylinder, they're going back to the V8. When you have a 10, 15-year-old F-150 and it's only worth $5,000 or $6,000, are you going to want to put another $5,000 or $6,000 transmission into it? Probably not. Used transmissions also have the same problems that you're going to have with your current transmissions. You look at old trucks, they have hundreds of thousands of miles on them, and now the newer trucks are starting to have transmissions go out at 50,000 miles. They're starting to have electrical problems at 20,000 miles. Do you think I'm completely off base? I'd love to hear all your opinions in the comment section down below. That's all I have for this video. Hopefully we'll have some great enthusiast cars coming in 2025, and I'd love to drive those cars even if they are a little bit over complex for myself. If you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next video.